We welcome you into another episode of Talking Blizz with Joey Bonadonna, and this week we have defensive lineman number 9, Rafiq Abdul-Wahid. Rafiq, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, and coming off another big win, another win against Quad City. You guys clinch the season series against them. What is this team? What's been different about this team? You've been kind of around the organization now for the last 3 years. What's been different about this team and the resiliency you guys have shown throughout game in and game out?
I would say what's different with this team as opposed to the last team that I've been a part of with this organization is just our desire to be better and get better. I think this year with this group of guys, like I think we gel together, first of all, but I think we all on the same page where it's like we can't be satisfied with like, you know what I'm saying, mediocrity. You know what I mean? We got to push for greatness. You know what I'm saying? As long as you strive for greatness, you know what I'm saying, you're going to end up with a good result. So I think that's the biggest difference.
You guys found out early before the game that you guys are going to be out without Sean Mustin going into that one against Quad City. You guys, a defensive front, you guys still showed out and played pretty well on your front. What was what was the adjustment when you guys found out that news to the performance you guys put out there again on Friday night?
It wasn't really no adjustment. One man don't stop the show. That go for all of us.
Got you. And you guys got an opportunity to show that you guys have been one of the best defensive line groups in this league. And just like you said, even without one guy doesn't stop the show, you guys all show week in and week out that you guys have been one of the best units on the defensive line across the league, if not the best. So going forward into that, not just your position group, the whole defense this year has shown out being one of the best units. Again, not just defensive line, linebackers, secondary, the whole unit together has been arguably the best this year. What's been the buy-in with that, the adjustment from last year to this year, specifically on the defensive side? What's been different for you guys over there?
Defensively, we just I feel like we just keep playing. Like we keep playing. You know what I mean? Like when we played Frisco a couple weeks ago, they went up 21-7 on us, and I don't know how the last year's team, I don't know how we would have responded to that as a unit. But I know this year, you know what I'm saying, there wasn't no panic. It wasn't no like, there wasn't no barking at each other. We literally went on the sideline, figured out the adjustments, changed some stuff, and you know what I'm saying, the rest is history. So I think that's really the biggest difference is we just gonna keep playing. We're gonna keep always gonna make you snap it again. You know what I mean? You can run the whole length of the field. We're gonna make sure we try to tackle you at the one and make you snap it again because we know anything can happen. You know what I'm saying? We take it play by play.
And you mentioned that 21-7 spot against Frisco. I talked about this with Vi last week or 2 weeks ago now, that showed that this entire team brought something to the table in trying to get out of that deficit. Offense scores to make it 21-14. Mevis goes and kicks a deuce to make it 21-16, and then you guys go out and don't want to throw Mevis under the bus. He did miss the extra point. Then it was 21-15. Mm-hmm. Safety, then your whole defensive front. But even the play before that, you guys looked like you had a scoop and score for a touchdown, but then the resilience to come back the next play, still get the safety. And there have been different guys rotating in on that defensive line, just like we mentioned. Olalere Oladipo, Darren Brown, Chris Biggers, yourself, Sean, those guys have all had to step up in big situations. It's been really great to see with that defensive line so far. Diving into overall coming into this game this week, what's been coming up with Massachusetts now, looking at that team, and you guys feel like coming off that first game of the season, you guys let one slip away. What's the message for you guys this week going into that one?
Um, the message is, I can't really tell you what the message is. I mean, I just know, like, we know what happened week one. We know that happened because of us. It was nothing that they did. So, you know what I'm saying? We just ready. That's what I feel like. It ain't really too much. We don't do a lot of talking. You know what I mean? Like, of course, we talk to each other, but it's like, as far as, like, having to gas each other up to play, you know what I'm saying? It's really already there. It's already within each and every one of us on the team. So it's like, it ain't really too much that has to be said about what happened in the past, because we all know. And if you know what I'm saying, if you don't know, then, you know what I'm saying, you can ask somebody, you know, as far as the people who just got here, wasn't here week one. So, yeah, I don't really know what the message would be. It's just, I think everybody just ready, especially the people that was here. Like, we ready to go out there and right the wrong, because we really was supposed to, you know what I'm saying? We feel like we were supposed to win that game.
Absolutely. You know? And you look at that game, obviously coming in week one, do you think you guys learned something from that game going forward, that, not to say that that game was the identity of the team, but knowing that you don't want to let something like that happen again, what was the lesson you guys learned from that first game and being able to work from that since?
It's not over. It is not over. The general consensus after that game is that we got up, we got comfortable, took our foot off the gas, and they just kept playing. And when we tried to put our foot back on the gas, it was too late. So I think that is one of the biggest lessons we learned all season, is don't get comfortable, because that's what stayed with us. That's what's been staying with us throughout all these weeks. You know what I mean? We joke around with it a little bit, but, you know, you'll hear guys say stop smiling, because second halftime of Massachusetts game, it was all smiles. We was all smiling, but at the end of the game, it wasn't no smiles. You know what I mean? And we just let that stick with us. You know what I mean? So I would say that's the biggest thing, really.
And we've seen the adjustment from that game to now, even just this past week. You know, having the 4 possession lead on Quad City, then they kind of cut that in half. There's kind of, you know, maybe there's something looming in the cards, but you guys kind of slammed that shut going from there. The fourth quarter over the last 3 weeks, you guys have really, it feels like you've dominated. Knowing that you guys have to finish the job, that's been a big part of this team going forward. And I remember coming back from that week 2 game against Iowa, the thing Coach said to us that week when we talked to him was finish. That was the mantra, and that's been the mantra of this team for the last few weeks, is knowing that fourth quarter you guys have to show up, because that's when you can win the game.
Exactly. That's definitely been one of our focuses, you know what I mean? I think we now starting to hit our stride with that, you know, pitching shutouts in the fourth quarter. You know, that's really, you know what I'm saying, the IFL, you ain't going to see too many donuts put up on the scoreboard by a team, you know what I mean? It's 50-yard field, people going to score, but, you know what I mean, if we could stop them from scoring at a critical time like the fourth quarter, like we have been, you see the result, you know what I'm saying? So,
and overall, the defensive group, turnovers has been a big part over the last few weeks. It seemed like in the early going, you guys didn't really have a lot of turnovers in terms of fumbles and interceptions, a lot of turnover on downs, big red zone defense like you touched on, making them snap it one more time. But now it seems like you guys are putting together a lot of turnovers, forced fumbles, interceptions. Is there a mentality shift there that now you guys know that you can take over a game not only on fourth down but any other down outside of that?
Yeah, we always preach, you know what I mean, thinking about the ball is what will take the defense to the next level. So as long we just always thinking about the ball before we're thinking about a tackle, but, you know, we just, like I said, we just always thinking about the ball. When we going to make a tackle, we thinking about the ball. When we going to make a sack, we thinking about the ball. When it's in the air, we thinking about it. You know what I mean? We just trying to get to the ball, and I just think we just out there having fun. You know what I mean? Once we start having fun and it start being fun to us, can't nobody really play with us.
So. I think that's something that I picked up looking at Packers OTA's new defensive coordinator, Jeff Hafley, said, don't think, just play. And that's kind of been what's felt like watching this group this year, is going out there, playing, having fun. And that's something that you just leaned on there. Wrapping up here, obviously a big one against Massachusetts on the road. This is kind of a pivotal point in the schedule going forward. You guys know that playoffs are within reach, but this game this week, you could clinch a playoff spot. Knowing what this organization has gone through from making to the playoffs of 2019 since trying to get back, what's been the goals ever since day one of trying to get back there, not just the playoffs, but getting all the way to Vegas?
That's it. Going to Vegas. You know what I'm saying? It's championship or bust, I feel like, with this team. I don't feel like we're content with just going to the playoffs and being a good team. No, we want to bring a chip back. So I think that's the number one goal for everybody.
Absolutely. And obviously, one game at a time, and the next step towards that goal is this week against Massachusetts. Again, on the road, it'll be an afternoon matinee out in Lowell. Should be an exciting one between the Blizzard and the Pirates. I want to thank Rafiq Abdul-Wahid for his time this afternoon, and for you for tuning in to this week's episode of Talking Blizz. We'll see you in the next one, and as always, go Blizz.